Phil Watson for HGTV, and I'd like to welcome you to the 1996 International Home Furnishings Market. If you like furniture, this is the place to be. This is the largest trade event of its kind anywhere in the world, and just about every important manufacturer in the world shows here. There's only one catch. The public's not invited. This is a trade event. But don't worry, we're going to take you behind the scenes and show you what's new in this on-location special for Home and Garden Television.
Welcome to an HGTV on-location special. HGTV on location at the 1996 International Home Furnishings Market.
High Point is a medium-sized southern town located in the Piedmont region of central North Carolina. It's a great place to live, and believe me, it's not usually like this. The city hosts the International Home Furnishings Market twice a year, and that's when it attracts manufacturers from all over the world because buyers from all over North America come here to see and buy the new furniture lines. The market began in High Point way back in 1909 because the forests and sawmills in this part of the world provided an abundant supply of the raw lumber which is needed to manufacture wood furniture, frequently referred to as case goods. Today, 60% of all the furniture sold in the United States, and that includes upholstery as well, is produced in North Carolina and Virginia. So High Point is more important than ever before. In fact, there are now more than 2,300 exhibitors in 150 separate buildings with over 7 million square feet of showroom space in the town today. The spring and fall markets, which each last about a week, pull in more than 70,000 people. So it's almost impossible to get a hotel room, a rental car, or even a dinner reservation unless you make your plans a year in advance. But don't even waste your time trying. This is a trade event. The markets are not for consumers. Let me repeat that loud and clear. The International Home Furnishings Market in High Point, North Carolina is closed to the general public. You're not welcome. But HGTV is, and we're on location, we've laced up comfortable walking shoes, and we're ready to take you inside behind the scenes and show you some of the most exciting new introductions this market. So let's get started. There's a lot to see. And our first stop is a company called Henredon. We're starting our market tour with a look at the most exciting case goods collections introduced this fall. And Henredon certainly deserves a spot near the top of the list. Their beautiful new collection called Cachet illustrates the ongoing infatuation which manufacturers, store buyers, and consumers have for wood pieces inspired by the past, but updated for the present. The trade likes to call this relaxed traditional. And that means nothing too formal, but nothing too funky either. Henredon Furniture has a reputation for superb design skills and very impressive manufacturing capabilities, so they can build just about anything. Mike Dugan has been president for at least 9 years. And Mike, I'm hoping you can shed a little light on why Cachet seemed to be the perfect introduction for this market.
Certainly, I'd be happy to. In order to take advantage of those skills and capabilities at Henredon, we feel that our objective should be to be very responsive to consumers who are sending signals to us indicating the type of furniture that they want to have in their homes, which will allow them to create an environment that reflects their lifestyles. So what we do on an ongoing basis constantly is to analyze what's happening in terms of restaurants, what's happening in terms of ready-to-wear, what's happening in terms of movie sets. We look very closely at these trends, and what we have seen has been a gradual swinging of the pendulum, if you will, away from the down-home country look, away from the trashed villa look, away from the barn look, beyond the barn, if you will, toward a certain degree of elegance, but not back to the stuffy, pretentious, in-your-face type of designs that perhaps personified the 80s. Now we see a blending of formality, but not wanting to give up the casual, relaxed atmosphere that we've become so accustomed to. And that was what led us to this point where we said, now what type of collection would best reflect that lifestyle?
Henredon's presentation includes a wide variety of pieces utilizing materials as diverse as iron, leather, marble, and glass, but there's nothing random about Cachet. The name itself implies distinction and genuine quality, and the company has managed the mix of styles very, very skillfully.
Rather than sticking with rigid period design like Louis Philippe or Louis XIV or Regency, we have chosen from the best of design elements in Europe in the 17th, 18th, and even into the 19th century from Italy and France, which would have represented the high watermark of cabinet makers during those times. And we have carefully chosen designs which we think go together and blend very, very well. Then in finishing them and in trimming them out with the fabrics, we have gone to a worn look, or what our designers like to call a scuffed formality, which is a way of dressing down or turning the dial down a little bit on the pretentiousness that we sometimes see in furniture design. It's relaxed, but it's elegant.
Henry isn't the only manufacturer showcasing relaxed traditional stylings this market. A new collection here at the Lane Company is taking a similar direction, but the approach is completely different. Stand by for neoclassical designs without the pomp and circumstance as soon as we come back. Company showroom in the middle of another relaxed traditional collection. Like the Henry pieces we saw earlier, this introduction borrows heavily from the 18th and 19th centuries. Only this time, antiquity is also part of the mix. And that changes things considerably, because the pieces in the second new wood collection we're seeing resemble buildings from classical civilizations. This introduction, titled European Archives, makes a relatively informal impression as we see it here, but there's an underlying stateliness that's impossible to ignore. Wayne Morris is director of case goods marketing for the Lane Company, and he's going to fill us in a little bit on the whole neoclassical aspect of their European Archives collection.
Phil, neoclassical means it has design elements from ancient Greece and from the Roman Empire. And what we have tried to do is create a very casual type group that is more relaxed in its finish with straight lines. It's a very lineal type group with no curves. Think of when you look at our European Archives collection and you look at the piece of furniture, and from the floor up to the top of the piece, you will notice how it is built up. It has an exposed plinth base at the bottom, a nice clean line for the drawer or door area, and then you have your fluted frieze molding, and then you have your cavata molding underneath that with an overhung top. The whole look is reminiscent of ancient Greek and Roman architecture.
And that look remains relaxed as long as the finish stays in the lighter tone the company calls Provence. Wayne showed me how quickly things change, however, when the collection's cherry veneers and maple solids appear in a rich, dark brown finish known as Corinthian. Suddenly, the mood switches to a much more dressed-up feeling, and the same pieces we saw earlier pick up some of the formality you'll find in the French Empire stylings favored by Napoleon during the early 19th century. There's another finish also available on selected pieces, which the company expects consumers to use as accents.
The third finish that we do have are a few pieces in an accent black type finish. It is black painted over cherry, and it does reveal the grain through the black finish, but the marketplace is telling us that black is becoming a very strong finish. And people want to mix and match marble, stone tops, the light cherry finish and the traditional cherry finish that we have in our darker finishes, and it turned out to be very well received.
Case goods with relaxed traditional and transitional stylings are still the dominant design trend. But this market, we started to see wood collections with slightly more formal themes. Bernhardt Furniture is one company that's starting to dress things up a bit. It began last market when the company introduced a striking 36-piece group called Embassy Row, which combined European design themes from France, Italy, and Great Britain with the grand proportion of furniture found in America's early mansions and plantations. Bernhardt dealers were so ecstatic, the company began planning a follow-up last spring. And the result is a second cherry collection with even greater ornamentation and more opulent carvings in a slightly lighter nutmeg finish. This stunning introduction is called La Scala. This is Roundtree Collett, a senior vice president with Bernhardt Furniture. And Roundtree, maybe you can tell us a little bit what's going on here in terms of a slightly more formal, slightly more traditional look in your case goods this market.
Well, thanks, Phil. Yeah, we've been at Bernhardt over the last couple of markets, like a lot of people in the industry, working on this more relaxed traditional category. And we realized that really there was a void in the marketplace starting to develop for consumers who really wanted a little bit of a richer, more formal look in their homes. And the relaxed lifestyle, after all, isn't for everyone.
In case you haven't guessed, La Scala is named after the fabled Italian opera house, and the title is more than coincidental.
Well, we looked to the inspiration of the La Scala Opera House in Milan, which is really sort of the center of opera worldwide. And we thought that summed up a lot of the things we were trying to do in this collection. It blended a lot of different European cultures and brought them together in a central place, and clearly that's what we're doing with the designs in La Scala. And it also, for its day, it summed up sort of the height, the pinnacle of culture at that time. And we'd like to do that here again, to have a consumer feel that they've bought something that really summed up refinement and good taste.
Traces of the operatic landmark appear in horseshoe-shaped carvings and a repeating swag motif reminiscent of the hall's interior and stage curtain. And Bernhardt's gone out of its way to make this new furniture appear old and venerable. Most pieces even come with a surface treatment known as dusty wax.
What we're really looking for here is recreating the feel of antiques, and they have that soft, weathered feel. And we're able to recreate that here using largely cherry veneers and a soft patina to the finish. A lot of handwork goes into that finish, and then we render it in a very soft satin finish. And so the sheen is not too high, and again, is very compatible with what you'd find in an antique.
Of course, more formal 18th and 19th century designs are just one reaction to the relaxed traditional stylings which have attracted so much attention at recent markets. Contemporary may be making a comeback as well, and we'll show you a brand new collection taking that direction in just a few minutes.
America's #1 choice for home decorating is Hancock Fabrics, Minnesota Fabrics, and Fabric Warehouse. And
we promised you some contemporary case goods, and our next story won't disappoint you. Thomasville Furniture has developed a fairly contemporary grouping that seems perfect for the 90s. It's sleek, it's clean, and surprisingly affordable. The collection is called Artistics, and like European Archives, Embassy Row, and La Scala, the primary wood in this collection is cherry. That, however, is where the similarity ends, because you'd really have to use your imagination to label these pieces as even remotely traditional. Sure, you'll find references to the 17th and 18th centuries, as well as the classics, but the look here is more modern, more minimalist, more millennium-inspired. Okay, I'm here with Guy Walters, Vice President of Design and Display for Thomasville Furniture, and Thomasville has sort of a unique knack for combining a variety of styles when they create a new collection. Guy, maybe you can give us a little bit of a feeling for what Artistics is all about.
Well, Artistics is really a group that has, it's the next step. What happens after Shaker, what happens after a lot of the beautiful collections that we've done in the past. And it's really for the contemporary person who doesn't want to get too far away from their traditional roots. And I think that's what a lot of consumers are looking for today. They want something that's different than what their parents had, something that's definitely different than what their grandparents have. But they're not ready to step too far out on the edge.
The hourglass-shaped harlequin patterns with dark walnut inserts appear on a great many pieces, and the overall sophistication of the veneer work is surprising for a collection where most of the case pieces have retail price points well below $2,000. On top of all that, Artistics is inviting. The styling here is easy to take, and there's nothing too intimidating or pretentious, something Thomasville dealers seem to like.
And we've been tickled to death with the reaction, because when you do something that's not mainstream Thomasville, you do worry that will your customer go with you to that level that you're trying to take them to. And I think that so far, after about the first 3 or 4 days, we've proven that they're willing to take that step in a big way.
Thomasville isn't the only company taking steps in a big way. Our next stop is the Marge Carson showroom. And this is a company with a long-standing reputation for big and beautiful, classic contemporary designs. Sumptuous upholstery pieces like these have been the company's calling card. But as you'll soon see, lavish case goods collections introduced this market were looming large as well. I'm here with Jim LaBarge, who's president of Marge Carson. And Jim, I'm hoping you'll be able to give us a little bit of a summary statement concerning the direction in your showroom this fall.
Well, Marge Carson is known for scale and some very elegant yet very comfortable looks in upholstery. We're generally a little larger than normal, and we tend to use a more neutral color palette in the fabrics. And these combined with some exceptional finishes that we can do, our neutral palette with some very tactile types of fabrics, chenilles, silks, those all combine to give it an elegance, an understated elegance that still is comfortable. It's not standoffish. It's something that you'd like to sink in, just like the sofa.
Marge Carson has always offered substantially sized accent tables and cases which correlate with their generous upholstery. But this market, the company expanded its efforts in wood with the launch of 3 new bedroom groups of notable magnitude. This neoclassical offering is called Bassano. And there's a grouping named South Beach, where the Art Deco influences of that coastal Miami district provide ample inspiration. Just to give you some idea of the scale of these Marge Carson wood pieces, this entertainment armoire is one of the smaller numbers in the line. Now, I'm 5'8", and it's at least 1.5 feet taller than I am. Matching mirrors and dressers appear in all the new bedroom groups. And not surprisingly, the room settings we saw included knockout upholstery pieces. Still, nothing quite prepared us for the impact of Marge Carson's 3rd and final bedroom, Oriento. Okay, Jim, the room we're standing in, I can see, definitely has a sort of an Asian-themed look. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about what Marge Carson is doing in this area.
Well, this is really very pure Oriental in design, and we've chosen to go a direction where we have contemporized the Oriental design. And pure Oriental mixes beautifully with contemporary furniture. It's very, very elegant. It's minimalistic in lines, and to get to the grace that can be inherent in Oriental, we have chosen not to go with a sort of a chop suey direction where it's just filled full of everything you can possibly imagine, but instead, as you can see from the furniture, we've taken it back just to its purest line.
We'll be shifting our focus to upholstery as soon as we come back when our on-location special continues right here on HGTV. Right, we're moving again, and this time our quest is upholstery. My feet are already killing me, but this will be worth it, because when it comes to upholstery, Drexel Heritage is full of surprises. Store buyers often walk 10 full miles during their High Point shopping trips. And this market, it seemed like they could log half that distance in the Drexel Heritage building. Citrus shades imported from Europe for the contemporary pieces we've been looking at, and a milder mid-tone clear color palette installed on these more transitional frames are the big news at the value-oriented Drexel line. The most popular cover treatments, however, appeared in the premium-priced Heritage area on traditional upholstery dressed in off-whites, known as French vanilla.
It looks like the color in a pearl or a French lace or a snowflake, actually, and the color palette lends itself to wash damask, tone-on-tone satin stripes, and chenille, and it's on very elegant traditional frames with lots of detail and shape. It's 37% of our total color and fabric business today.
The Lily and August collection is another Drexel Heritage business attracting attention this market. This enchanting assortment of Victorian and Edwardian upholstery with correlating accessories and wood accents is now a full-fledged division. And I spoke with the unit's founder about her new opportunity.
I love to talk about what we're doing at Drexel because we've had an opportunity now to set ourselves apart, have our own boutique, which is airlifted into furniture stores, and tell the whole story with cross-merchandising. So it's the totally romanced, traditional approach that I love so much. Beautiful fabrics, colors, wonderful frames that have the same English inspiration that we find the customer is just so happy with. And I think now we've really zeroed in on filling in on our neutrals. They're wonderful golden shades, lots of cut damask velvets, and bold stripes and silks, and probably trying to bring the room to its greatest potential of romantic imagery and drama and comfort.
If the Lily and August collection tends to skew slightly female in its buyer appeal, the last new offering from Drexel Heritage this market has a decidedly more masculine focus. They call it the Gentleman's Home Collection, and it has 3 separate styling areas. City Dweller shown here consists of sleek looks in leathers and smoother fabrics chosen for metropolitan customers. Designs are more traditional in the area known as the Shareholder, featuring conventional damasks and stripes. Finally, there's Voyager, an adventurous presentation showcasing daring texture mixes of faux silk, animal hides, and unusual trim finishes. The vice president who showed me the line expects all 3 areas to lure men into furniture stores.
A female will see this and say, this would be perfect for my husband, or this would be perfect for my father, or whoever it is they want to bring in and show them the collection. So we know that females are the ones who are out in the marketplace looking around, but once they see this, they'll identify with what we're trying to accomplish here, and they'll bring their male partner in, whether it be their father, uncle, or whatever. And also in the metropolitan areas, we find that male shoppers are really out on their own too.
Barclay Furniture is another upholstery manufacturer where there's a lot going on this market. However, it's hard to say which fabrics and leathers are the best sellers. The sofas, love seats, and chairs attracting the most attention here in their showroom have eclectic multimedia cover treatments which combine lots of different materials. And I asked the company's merchandising director to explain the theory behind these new pieces.
Well, the handle we've used here at Barclay Furniture is collage, and a collage is just a nice mixing of different textures, feelings, and looks that all come together as sort of an appealing, eclectic, and interesting sort of piece of furniture that you can decorate around in your home. And I think this is just a reflection coming into the upholstery side of the business of that same sort of attitude. People want to have a little more fun and creativity with their furniture, and I think it allows them a little more individuality than if they just come in and buy everything that matches and goes together the same way as everybody else would buy it.
One obvious advantage to the collage approach is the flexibility it provides in changing the look of your upholstery if you mix the patterns on your seat cushions and pillows. The cover variations don't have to be that extreme, however, and this all-denim offering shows how appealing even a single material can be when Barclay employs different versions of the same fabric. All right, let's change gears for a second, but stick with upholstery. Our next stop's a company that makes beautiful sofas, love seats, and sectionals, but with a slightly different twist. In fact, you never know what might pop up. They call this furniture motion upholstery because it moves and allows the people who use it to put their feet up and lean back in a wide variety of relaxing positions. It's one of the fastest growing furniture categories. And this market, we got to visit one of the acknowledged leaders in the field. I'm here with Alan Cole, the president and CEO of the Burke Line Corporation, which I'm told is the single largest manufacturer of motion upholstery in the world. And Alan, I'm wondering if you can give our viewers a little bit of background into the origins of motion upholstery and why it's become so popular in recent years.
Phil, motion upholstery came about some years ago when manufacturers of the ever-popular traditional reclining chair and manufacturers of upholstered family room furniture began to realize that if we could combine the two categories, we could have a product that would have even a broader appeal for the home. The popularity of motion furniture seems to be the fact that not only can you get reclining chair comfort in really nice looking, attractive upholstered furniture, but there's seats for the whole family, there's multiple reclining mechanisms in motion upholstery, and that there's also additional functions that can be incorporated into the product.
New features like built-in cup holders and hidden speaker phones make it possible to spend a whole weekend in these sectional sofas and love seats if you're so inclined. But the big news at Burke Line this market is the company's continuing progress in designing frames and selecting fashionable covers, which make these products practically indistinguishable from stationary upholstery.
Originally, Phil, when the motion upholstery category began to evolve, the product really lacked a lot of the styling that it has today. It was more bulky. The mechanisms didn't allow for some of the styling that's popular today. And we really have engineered the product so that the proportions and dimensions are much more attractive today. And the fabrics that are used, whether it be leather or whether it be nicer, more styled fabrics, are much more attractive than they were when the product first came about.
The case goods and upholstery we've been looking at in this on-location HGTV special have certainly attracted a lot of attention in High Point. But what about the people behind these designs? Well, you're invited to a special awards ceremony sponsored by the American Society of Furniture Designers right here in this hotel as soon as we come back. See if you agree with their picks for the best designs of 1996. Let's go inside for that special awards presentation sponsored by the American Society of Furniture Designers and see what this professional group feels are the best furniture designs for 1996. The first annual Pinnacle Design Achievement Awards began with a dinner attended by many of the industry's top manufacturing executives as well as society members. Everyone was eager to see who'd walk off with the trophies, recognizing 9 product categories. But before we announce the winners in this Academy Award-style ceremony, you need to understand why designers feel the event is so important.
Manufacturers sometimes take their suppliers for granted, and the thing that they overlook very often is the fact that we're the ones who create the designs and make it possible for them to sell to their customers, who are the buyers, who ultimately sell it to the consumer on the street. So we, as the American Society of Furniture Designers, want that consumer on the street ultimately to understand where design comes from.
All right, the best designs of 1996, chosen by a jury selected by the American Society of Furniture Designers. The award in the Major Collections category goes to Craig Stout, Phil Stone, and Irving Sabo for the Country Colors collection manufactured by Ethan Allen. James DePersia is the winner in Bedroom for his 4000 group made by Utamaro. In Casual Dining, it's Mark Singer for the Azia Collection dining group produced by Giotti Designs. In Formal Dining, Ethan Allen scores again thanks to Stout, Stone, and Sabo and their Regents Park dining group. The winners in the Occasional category are Rick Berry, Dave Clark, and Keith Binns for the Ducks Unlimited collection created for Hammery Furniture. In Stationary Upholstery, it's Michael Wolf for the Miami Chair, manufactured by Preview Furniture. The award in Motion Upholstery goes to Rick Berry and Dave Clark for the Radius Recliner they designed for Ethan Allen. Michael Lambright and Douglas Krieger take the Home Office honors for their Monarch Computer Work Center developed for Sauter Woodworking. And the winner in Lighting and Accessories is Mark McDowell for the European Crossroads lighting he designed for Fine Art Lamps. Designers certainly deserve credit for the styles and fashions which make the international home furnishings market such an important event. And Baker Furniture is one company which has never failed to recognize the creative people who help them develop their collections. As you'll soon see, this market is a case in point. Anyone familiar with West Coast designers will know the name Barbara Barry. Her home in the Hollywood Hills became the cover story in a recent House Beautiful, and her reputation for creating quiet, tranquil interiors in an area known for dramatic overstatements attracted the attention of one of America's leading furniture companies. The result this fall is a new collection of case goods and upholstery bearing her name and her touch, which obliging critics have labeled nonchalant elegance. I'm here with Barbara Barry, the designer behind Baker's new introduction at this international home furnishings market. And Barbara, maybe you can give our audience a little bit of your design philosophy which came into play in working with Baker.
I would love to. I think my philosophy behind this collection is that it's transitional, it's tailored, and it's timeless. And by transitional, I mean forms that transition between contemporary and modern and to historical pieces. They don't really belong in any one particular period, but they work with all of them. Tailored, for me, means that every piece really can float as an object in the room. It's thought out on every single side. It's almost sculpture, if you would. And everything has a thorough going over, a tightness to it, kind of like a good suit. So the pieces that are transitional are also very tailored. And with those two things, they become timeless. These aren't pieces that we're going to tire of. These are pieces like a good wardrobe that we're going to add to with time. We're going to use them as building blocks. And I hope that this is the beginning of a long-term relationship with Baker.
That relationship began with a collection of pictures Barbara used to get the process of design rolling.
I come from a family of painters, and my approach has always been to sketch into watercolor first. I could envision full rooms for Baker in a collection that I wanted to do, and the way I approached it was through watercolor. Did a series of watercolors for them, and with their vast knowledge of how furniture went together and goes together, we were able to kind of hit the ground running. So we started with sketches, and then tighter drawings, and then prototypes, and to the finished product.
Somewhere in between the artwork and prototypes, Barbara also found time to travel to Grand Rapids and Baker's manufacturing facilities. And when company president Chris Plasman showed me the new collection, he told me that trip ensured its success.
With Baker, our capabilities are endless, and unless a designer really has the opportunity to come visit and understand just exactly how willing we are to experiment, to look at new manufacturing processes, perhaps involve new technology in that process, they really can't understand how their limitless design capability can be taken advantage of.
Barbara Barry understands completely, and her new collection incorporates Baker's superb finishing skills on pieces like this gold leaf chest, rare production techniques such as the hand planing responsible for unique surface textures on most of the mahogany tables, and tightly tailored backs and dressmaker designs which give the upholstery pieces a couture-like quality akin to a Paris salon. That's what happens when a collaboration clicks. And the Baker-Barry partnership introduced this market looks like a winner in more ways than one. Baker's a well-established company with a great reputation. And like most of the companies we've been looking at, they've been showing here in High Point for years. We'll meet a newcomer right after this break. A tiny manufacturer with a brand new line you won't want to miss. Welcome back. We've been visiting some of the larger companies producing case goods and upholstery here at the High Point Market, but I wouldn't want you to think that these companies are the only game in town. Bexleyheath is a new manufacturer producing occasional pieces, and I think you'll enjoy seeing some of the furniture they've designed specifically for the bedroom and the bath. Mary Cassatt is the first collection we'll be looking at. These delicately styled pieces, named after America's most famous female impressionist, are made from figured maple, and they provide lots of stylish storage without taking up much room. A wide variety of natural and painted finishes are available, and like everything Bexleyheath makes, the scaling is intentionally petite. The company's VP of Sales and Marketing helped me understand why.
The tagline for our company is unique pieces to fit small spaces. And in doing our marketing research, we really kind of discovered that everybody today is doing big pieces. And we have found that in our market research that as baby boomers are becoming the empty nesters now, they're downsizing. So they're going from their bigger homes to smaller homes, and those big pieces that they had for years don't fit anymore.
Paradoxically, the master bath and bedroom suites in most of the new housing being sold are getting larger. Hugh says we're seeking greater retreats from an increasingly hectic world, and the multi-purpose pieces in Mary Cassatt and the second collection he showed me will help us furnish these private, more personal places. Now we're going to take a look at a different part of the Bexleyheath line, something which is distinctly different from the Mary Cassatt pieces.
The Mary Cassatt pieces were styled more transitional, traditional, and this line, which is called Biba, is much more contemporary. Biba stands for the first two letters of bedroom and the first two letters of bathroom. We put that together and it's Biba. And it's a contemporary line, and the lines are very straight, lots of geometry going on, going to fit in contemporary homes.
Sink cabinets, rolling carts, towel étagères, perfume chests, dressing tables, and stools are available here as well. And each of the Biba collection pieces are available in cherry, figured maple, or African Movingi woods. Pieces designed for the bed and bath are just one specialty niche here in High Point. Home office furniture is another. More and more people are now working at home, and we saw another new line this fall which targets that market. The line is called Home Tech, computer furniture by American Drew. And these products may be very important if you live in one of the 40 million homes with space now set aside for office work. Dennis Ammons is the marketing director for this new line. And Dennis, we've seen desks and storage cabinets before. I'm hoping you'll be able to tell our viewing audience what makes the Home Tech line of office furniture truly different.
Sure, Phil. The two primary differences of our Home Tech line are that first, it has the warmth and the design of traditional wood furniture so that it fits right into anyone's home. And secondly, all of the functions that a PC user require are fitted into this furniture. The power pedestal, for example, which is common to all of our computer desks, encloses the central processing unit, encloses the power strip, the power management system, encloses disk storage, pencil storage, CD storage, and so forth, so that it's totally out of sight and out of mind when the computer's not being used.
There's also space available for your printer and file storage in most pieces, and you'll find plenty of built-in mouse pads near the work surface, even on units which are less sophisticated than this glass-top desk with a recessed monitor. Even more important, Home Tech has mastered the art of cord management.
If you've ever hooked up a PC at home and you did not have a Home Tech piece of furniture, you know how difficult it was running the cords from the phone jack and from the female receptacle on the wall to your computer and to your modem. Well, in our situation, we have the rear entry panel that opens just like a touch latch door, and all of the cords go in and out in the rear entry door, and with the door closed, everything is sealed up nice and neatly.
Not all the furniture here in High Point is completely brand new. Some companies use the market to update successful existing collections. And sometimes the new old furniture is every bit as exciting as the new furniture. Are you thoroughly confused? Well, if you'll just have a little patience, we'll straighten it out right after these messages. Manufactures completely authentic Mission furniture, which was first designed during the arts and craft period at the turn of the century. The styling we'll see in this showroom is truly timeless, but that doesn't mean the company is standing still. Almost every market since Stickley Furniture reintroduced this Mission Oak collection in 1989, the company has added new pieces inspired by the original designs, which first appeared nearly 100 years ago. The enduring character of this arts and crafts styling also encouraged Stickley to experiment with different woods. And the continuing popularity of their Mission Cherry line, shown here, is another achievement the manufacturer can be proud of. And now this market, we learn there's more. Amini Audi and her husband Alfred rescued the Stickley company from oblivion about 22 years ago, so they're deeply committed to the whole Mission category. But Amini, maybe you can tell us a little bit about a new introduction which came about this fall market.
Our new introduction, called 21st Century Mission, is deeply rooted in the Mission style and built on the craftsman ideal of making furniture that is better suited to our needs and more expressive of our character as a people. The 27-piece collection consists of dining room, bedroom, occasional, and upholstered pieces. And almost all our dealers bought the 21st Century Mission because they viewed it not in competition with, but as an extension of the Mission and as a new category that is going to appeal to a new generation and a slightly different customer.
One thing that customer will have in common with the original Mission buyer is a choice between oak and cherry construction. 21st Century Mission is available in either species, but that's pretty much where the similarity ends. Modernized hardware, ebony inlays, and higher sheen finishes create a very different look, and this one's a little more artsy than craftsy.
Well, I think it's a customer that has a little more sophisticated urban tastes, that wants a more contemporary look, more transitional look. It has elements of Frank Lloyd Wright, Charles Rennie Mackintosh, and Gustav Stickley. The Stickley elements are the spindles and the cutouts in the legs. Mackintosh had the ebony inlaid squares, and the Frank Lloyd Wright element is in the leaded glass. It is a little cleaner line, more sleek, more elegant, and definitely more contemporary.
21st Century Mission, the new old collection from Stickley. Okay, we've been taking you behind the scenes and showing you the new introductions in just about every furniture category. But we wouldn't want you to leave the international home furnishings market thinking this is just about case goods and upholstery. Store buyers come here to purchase decorative accessories and home accents as well. And our next and last showroom stop is a new collection focusing on just those areas. It's named for a Belgian artist and designer named Isabelle de Bourgrave, whose unique style of distinctly colored stenciling and hand painting has attracted lots of attention overseas. This fall, she crossed the Atlantic, and High Point buyers saw her creative work in occasional furniture from Lexington, the porcelain of Oriental accents, home textiles brought to market by Legacy, Florida Nova's permanent floral arrangements, clay dinnerware manufactured by Vietri, and most notably, a wide range of home accents from the Guildmaster Company, including wall shelves, boxes, mirrors, lamps, clocks, vases, and framed fine art prints of the artist's original paintings. I'm here with Ellie Parsons, who's one of the owners of Guildmaster, and Ellie was in large part responsible for bringing Isabelle de Bourgrave to the U.S. Ellie, give us a little bit of an idea about why this is such a big deal for Guildmaster and some of the other licensees involved.
I think that as an American market, we're looking for something new and fresh and somebody that has not been exposed and has a lifestyle that really would be interesting for the American market. And after going to Europe and after seeing what Isabelle has done in the European market, we felt that America was ready to be introduced to her lifestyle and to her designs. And Isabelle came to our factory 3 different times. Every time she came, she brought all of her paint clothes along. She was prepared to totally work from morning till night. She got in there, she painted all of the original samples. She did the same thing at Lexington. She did the same thing at Florida Nova. She created all of the actual floral arrangements. She met the people in Italy with Vietri and actually painted the original samples. So she is a very hands-on person. I mean, she herself has actually created the pieces.
Pieces which the artist told us carry her mark and her personality.
Les couleurs sont certainement mes couleurs.
The colors I use are certainly my colors. That is very important. It is probably because I'm a painter and I enjoy painting and spend a lot of time observing nature. Many of my colors come from nature and are a reflection of what I have seen and what I have observed. Even inanimate objects inspire me. Walls, churches, furniture, everything that I have seen and really collected. Things I've stored up in my mind's eye. And also, I feel that I'm not a person who uses really bright colors. I've always had a tendency to squint a little bit, perhaps because I'm a little nearsighted. When you close your eyes a little bit, you tend to see colors differently. I treat every object and every accessory that I make like a painting. And my way of approaching them is like I was creating a painting. So I don't call a piece of furniture a piece of furniture. For me, it is merely a piece of wood. It is furniture that I must tame, that I must make warmer, more interesting, more amusing. And it is an object which must harmonize with the fabrics, with the rugs, and with everything I make. It is a single creation which came together all at once and which really has existed very clearly in my head for a very long time. It has in a way sprung forth all by itself, and I shouldn't think about it too much because I have lots and lots of other things I still need to make.
Well, that's the end of the International Home Furnishings Market for 1996. All of the buyers are gone now, and most of the manufacturers are emptying their showrooms and closing them up for the year. As a matter of fact, things are starting to return to normal here in High Point. We hope you enjoyed this on-location special. I know we certainly enjoyed taking you around the showrooms, and just maybe you saw a few things that you like. Just remember, all of the case goods, all of the upholstery, all of the new collections and introductions in this program will not be available in stores until spring 1997. You saw them ahead of time. You saw them when the trade sees them. You saw them on HGTV. Thanks for being with us.